So also, when we talked few days ago, you mentioned that CRM and CSR readiness are non-negotiables.
Mm.
Why does that matter so much for marketing can really perform?
Yeah, so I've been at this for 7 years now. And what I found when I analyzed the people that ended up churning or the people that were not getting results with us, it was some of these fundamentals. So what we have is this checklist when they come in and work with us, which is you got to be residential focused. You got to be between 1 and 10 million. You have to have a CRM and a CSR. And the reason you need a CRM is because if I'm sending you leads and you have no idea where these leads are going, or you're sending out estimates and you have no idea what stage that they're in,
Mhm.
I can't reasonably tell you to increase your ad spend or do certain things because you can operationally run a business that's doing it. Like you don't know any of the numbers. So it's not set up for success, is the first thing. The second thing with the CSR is we had a guy out in California and he was around like 1.2 million. He was the CSR and the estimator. So he would answer the phone and then give estimates over the phone. The problem is that last year, February, he did 70 estimates. This year, with working with us, he did 140 estimates, so doubled his estimates. But last year with 70 estimates, he only closed 30 of them. This year with 140, he only closed 30 of them. So basically, he didn't have the bandwidth or willing to invest in more salespeople or infrastructure or not be the CSR even. And so what happens is that he caps his growth and then he thinks it's a marketing problem when really it's an operational problem. So
Got it.
that's really what we're looking at is do they have the infrastructure to scale and then do they have the team in place to scale? We could do it if they don't and they're willing to hire people, but it's going to take them longer because it takes someone 3 to 6 months to ramp up on a CRM, ramp up a CSR, and then they're going to evaluate our performance after 3 to 6 months. It doesn't really line up with like growth in the first 3 to 6 months.
Totally makes sense. Do you ever have a situation where you're like, man, this guy's perfect in that 1 to 10 sweet spot, but he doesn't have a CRM that goes beyond a spreadsheet or, um, you know, dedicated person to handle the CSR functions. But if he or she is willing to say, hey, you know what, Phil, I get it. I don't have that. Can you help me set it up so that you'll work with me to grow my business? Is that ever happen?
Yeah, we have two negotiables. CRM and CSR is negotiable if it's the right person. Like they got to not be a jerk. They got to be, focused on like entrepreneur mindset, not technician mindset. And then we will say, hey, if you're willing to invest in these things in your business and grow, absolutely. We'll work with you on that. The one non negotiable that we have is revenue. And the reason is because in home service, people spend 3 to 10% of their revenue on marketing. That's the benchmark.
Sure.
So at $1 million, you're spending 30 to $100,000. We fit nicely into that with a little bit of ad spend. So we know if you're running a good business, we're not going to be a burden. If you're a $500,000 business and you're like, yeah, I can spend $5,000 a month, that's fine. We know that that's not conducive to running a successful home service business. That's looking for a silver bullet and trying to bring in a company that's overkill for you. So we never want to be a burden on someone. We want to be a growth partner. So that's why usually if we're under a million, we will turn them away.
Yeah, because it's the classic startups that are, they want to focus more on the product and they don't want to give marketing enough importance or investment. And then they wonder why they don't get traction, right?
Yeah. And usually when you're under a million, you're the number one salesperson. You
Hmm.
usually answer the phones still or like overflow calls. You're also firefighting as the operations manager. So you don't have time to dedicate to building systems in your business. You're still just trying to figure out your life, which is not a bad thing. I went through that. We all went through that. But to bring on a strategic partner like Flash, you got to be at the threshold for it to make sense because you're not going to achieve the outcome that you want if you don't have the infrastructure. And so we have
Yeah.
to be transparent about that because we can't tell people like, yeah, we're going to grow your business 27% like all the other our average clients when you are not set up like our average client.